in partnership with CommSec.
Joining us from CommSec is Tom Piotrowski. Tom, good morning to you. Of course, the big news is this press conference that we're expecting from Donald Trump about the tariffs on steel and aluminium. So far, what I can see across world markets, there hasn't been a huge shock to that announcement or pre-announcement by Donald Trump. In fact, there's a lot of green across the markets. What's going on today?
Yeah, it's a good observation, Kenny. It's an accurate one. The skittishness that we saw at the end of last week in anticipation of these tariffs being applied and announced has been replaced by a more constructive tone. So investors have gotten to grips with key issues, and we've seen improvements for both US and European markets across the board. What stands out is that you're tending to see an outperformance when it comes to mining and energy stocks. So that is valuable as far as the prospects for the local share market are concerned this morning. The futures locally up by 1/3%. So that would neutralise a similar loss that we saw for the ASX 200. It was a challenging session for regional markets generally, but today we've got the Dow Jones up by 1/3%. The S&P 500 is up by 0.7%. Technology stocks also doing quite well. The disquiet that followed some of the big tech earnings last week has been reflected on, and we've seen a bid come back into some of those big names like Nvidia, for example. McDonald's shares are up by about 5%. They had some mixed earnings numbers, but the performance of their international business was encouraging from an analyst perspective, so that helped lift the sentiment around the stock. Elsewhere, we have got the European markets having closed around record highs in some cases. So the UK market hit a record high, up by 0.75%. The German DAX was up by 0.6%. Again, mining and energy stocks doing well in European trade. BP shares were up by about 7% on news that an activist investor had taken a significant stake in the organisation with a view to shaking things up. Luxury names, industrial names, technology names did well in Europe. So Hermes, Siemens and ASML were up anywhere between 1.5% to 3%. So we've seen commodity prices bump higher, Kenny. They are up by 1.5% in the case of gold, hitting new record highs. We've got oil up by more than 1.5%. So that's part of the reason that the futures are pointing to an improvement of about 1/3%, as I said, for the ASX 200 this morning.
Yeah, continuing that trend from yesterday. Tom, thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.